the hilarious Russell Brand on his show Brand X. It's live now, isn't it, Russell?
Yeah, it's on live like this. No.
But it's live. It's hard, isn't it? We're trying
I like it because, like, any errors that occur, you just have to commit to history and relinquish. And I think that's a nice way to regard things, rather than being trapped in some perpetual quest for perfection that can never really be achieved. So live, I like it. For example, look at this. If this weren't live, someone would go, "Oh no, there's no water in his great big porcelain jug of nothingness."
Yeah.
And, there'd be a cut and some water. But now someone's going to have to walk into frame, give me water, and I'll enjoy that moment.
It's funny they have not given you water.
Or we'll have to, in a sort of a crisis, look, someone might even throw it. And that'll come in, and I get to catch it live. The gifts are all there.
Yeah, so you like live.
I like it better.
What did you think? I don't want to tell a story when you're the guest, but I didn't know.
Can if you like, it don't make no difference.
It doesn't make any difference, it's live.
This is all just a little part of our life. This bit happens to be filmed. I've never been with you before and heard a story.
We've never met.
It'd be nice for me to hear you tell a story.
Well, I met Larry Flint, and I've met very few people. You're celebrities. You're maybe.
I thought you just meant people.
No,
you were like a boy from an experiment that they keep in a room with only horizontal lines in it and then release you into the world. And go, oh God, this new geometry.
Well, it's not far from that, is it?
No, it's pretty close.
I don't go out of my apartment. However, I met Larry Flint because we have a thing here in the United States where you go and talk in front of the president. So you do a stand-up comedy, which is what I do.
To the president?
To the president and a bunch of press people.
When?
It's like a roast.
Yeah. You never heard of that? Never heard television?
Go and do comedy at the president.
Yeah.
He sits down, you go and do some comedy.
Well, not right to him, not just one-on-one. Right. There's a bunch of press people.
The White House Correspondents.
Anyway, it's called the White House Correspondents. Anyway, the point of it is this. Larry Flint was there, right? So afterwards, I went up to Larry Flint, and I'm very uncomfortable around anyone's wheelchair or any sick person.
You're worried about it. You don't know what to say. You don't know if to address it or not.
Yeah, and I'm worried about my own mortality.
You think it's almost infectious?
Yes, I really do believe that they don't tell you how many contagious things there are. So I got close up to him, which you have to do with these fellas, and I said, "Hi, Larry," and he said, "Hi, Larry." So I said, "No, of course." I just agreed with him. Anyways, he said to me, he said, "Whenever you're out in California, come on over, I'll take care of you." So I was like, oh. And then I thought about it. I live in rural Canada. Now, my Uncle Basil, if he said, "Hey, anytime you're in the Ottawa Valley, come on over, I'll take care of you," that would mean he would make me a nice mincemeat pie, and Aunt Ida would play on the piano, and it'd be a heck of a thing. But when Larry Flint says, "I'll take care of you," I assume that means I'll be having sex with an odd-looking lady, and then he'll come in whacking off on his wheelchair.
Well,
but he's a wonderful guy.
I think the supplementary edition of a masturbating, voyeuristic, bewildered Larry Flint is that's conjecture. But I think what is reasonable, Norm, is that him saying, "I'll take care of you," because if it was like a man that ran like a vegetable store, "I'll take care of you," you might think that you're going to get some beets, some juices. I don't think you'd be paying for the pornography. I think a friendship with Larry is a portal to pornography.
Oh, absolutely.
I see. Have you ever been with a porno girl?
Yes.
A professional pornography person?
Several times, yes.
Oh, several times. And how does that... See, that would intimidate me because I would think... You know how when you're in bed sometimes and you're like, you're doing something that you think you invented? Have you ever done that? And then I
did invent them. I'm still thinking that.
I believe it.
because oftentimes it might have just been the pornographer's girl's husband that actually invented it.
Well, I don't know that the spouses of people in pornography are sexual pioneers. I imagine that they are like shuffling little eunuchs in the sex. They've married a person who's working in pornography. Yeah. If you're prepared to make that Faustian pact, where are you psychologically?
Yeah, well, you go out with them.
This is a casual interchange. That's like, I'm making more of a commitment to you by sitting here. So, it's not
but
like,
is it a challenge
let's go on a voyage. Yes, but, for me, look, what you got to think of, don't see sex as some treacherous, deceitful, grubby little act. It can be that. But see it instead as I see it as a beautiful confluence. And then women in pornography, if you treat them very, very, very lovingly and graciously, it awakens within them. In addition to their skill and their willingness to experiment, there's an incredible, I don't know, joie de vivre, an incredible libido in its literal sense, life force that you can be accessed. I don't think be intimidated sexually unless it's by some sort of strata of being you don't typically want to have sex with, like a cow or a camel or, in my case, a man.
Yes.
So that would be intimidating for me. I don't know how all of the orifices work.
Yeah. I think that's exactly the same.
With a camel.
Yeah. Well, I'm an old chug of coal. I'm near 50.
Uh-huh. I'm
on the same Viagra dosage that they give to the donkey at the second show in Tijuana. That's what my doctor told me.
How do you know? He said that's what we use. Why are they prescribing it in such a responsible way? It's that terrible, detrimental act of bestiality. Don't give that donkey too much Viagra. We're not monsters. Right, now go and fuck that human being for the entertainment of the children of God.
I envy you because you're a more enlightened person. See, I think of sex as a shameful, filthy act.
Catholic, are you?
No.
Oh, where have you picked this up?
I grew up that way, and I
out on the farm, watching animals doing it in rural Canada.
Sow,
a moose being ransacked against some timber.
Sow.
They listen.
We were pig farmers.
They're not gracious creatures when it comes to conjugal matters. I've recently had an interaction.
Worst oral sex you could imagine.
Horrible gums, sort of yellowing molars. I would never engage in sex with anything porcine. I see once, I went round a friend's house, they had a pig, they thought it was an angle.
Yeah.
I go, they goes, oh, the pig's coming out, and I could hear it. So this sort of desperate respiratory announcements preceded its arrival.
Yeah.
It come out, blind it was. Shuffled out at me, and they went with a pig, and you'll know this being from the world of pig farming. They said never take a step back once that pig comes out, otherwise the pig owns the hierarchical status between the two of you.
Yeah.
In fact, take a step towards the pig. Never did I deny my nature more, I'm a vegetarian, than stepping towards this unholy looking creature.
It is.
I did it anyway.
It is an unholy creature, for God's sake. Jesus threw the demons in them and let them go over the cliff.
Jesus thought that they were simply a receptacle for demons. And then even then, get them over a cliff. It wasn't like let them live in the barnyard full of demons. Got rid of them, executed them. So for me, I got no, as a vegetarian, I love all of the animals, but pigs.
I will tell you my idea about vegetarian. First of all, let me say, I once saw a video, and I don't search out these videos, but when guys show them to you, they go, you'll want to see this, and you're like, Jesus. And then there's no one seeing it, But it was a guy a pig having sex with a lady.
I've seen that.
And
they have prehensile penises, don't they?
They do.
Like corkscrews. Yeah. It's like their penis is its own independent entity trying to get away from the pig, which all of us can identify with. Ghastly little creature.
I felt sorry for the pig because here's the pig having sex with a beautiful woman, then they throw him back in the sty, You know what I'm saying?
It's like a cruel thing to do. It's like the midpoint of trading places. It's a very unfair thing to do that. Yeah.
Ralph Bellamy would be.
Well, but I think that let's save our sympathy here for the female because, in a way, where do you get yourself to look at that thing and think, I will put that into my mouth? I mean, I wouldn't eat it if it had been cooked. So live, writhing, and about to dispense sperm.
But do you actually think that they would like a man's sperm?
A human
being's sperm? A woman?
Well, who?
A woman.
A woman would like a man's sperm? Well, yeah, she's been biologically programmed
in
through
her mouth?
millennia. Not necessarily through her mouth, but I think there's a point where a little bit of deviation from the linear realms of sex is okay, mate. But when you sort of take a big radical turn
in your mouth,
like
isn't that stuff like living? Isn't that like those animals, little tiny tadpoles or something?
I didn't know it was going to have to get this deep. All right, then. Yeah, they're like little tadpoles. But, the cells in the woman's mouth, the woman's basically the same genetic material as us anyway. I mean, it's only a confluence, an interaction of mammalian material. Now, you could argue, well, so is it with the pig. But there's an important 1 or 2% of genetic difference that I think has to be observed in conjugal matters between species. That's my position.